We are talking about the Matrix today, are we not? All right. I should do like a pose, right? Okay. I'm going to turn the fan on because it's a little warm. Ooh. So what if I told you that our society may be at a fork in the road? What if I said we are being invited to look behind the curtain? So we're going to use the movie, The Matrix, to look at what we call reality. So I'm going to deconstruct some of the symbolisms in the movie. And when I'm doing that, what I want you to do is take a moment to be in discernment. Are there any parallels in your life that are happening as I describe certain scenes? And then if there are, be prepared to be expansive. With me? Okay. So how many of you do remember that movie? I know it was 1999, but thank God this is an older crowd. Okay, great. True. True. What was the critical question that Morpheus asked in the beginning of the movie? Okay, yes. What else? Make a choice, right? Which pill will you take, the red pill or the blue pill, right? The red pill meant awakening. The blue pill meant staying asleep in that enjoyable fantasy world. I love this movie, and I love this movie because of the rich layers that are within it. You know, I think it would probably take me several weeks to really kind of unwrap all the different layers that are in this movie. But what I love about it is this is modern day parables. Modern day parables that allow us to learn. When's the other time that I've talked about parables? Wizard of Oz, yes. And when we hear the word parable, is there one person or entity that we think of? Right, Jesus. You'll see throughout this that there is so much Christology backing the Matrix. So for example, a few of the symbols, 3, what do you think that was about? The Trinity. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, right? And then, of course, we have the character's name is Trinity. And what does she have to do eventually? Sacrifice herself for Neo, right? And then we look at the red pill. The red pill, there's been an association of that being the divine feminine coming in, the awakening of the divine feminine. And then green. When did you see green on the screen? The Matrix. Right, the Matrix. What do you think that green symbolizes? Decay, disease, death, right? Lots of symbolisms, but today what we're going to focus on is the choice between the red pill and the blue pill. So let's first talk about the Matrix. What was the Matrix supposed to be in the movie? It was a simulated reality that trapped humans within. The artificial intelligence machines, they created the Matrix to distract humans, keeping them locked in their minds. Alert, any parallel there? Okay. While using their bodies as an energy source. So existing in the Matrix, humans thought that, you know, they're going to work, they're doing all the necessary things for their lives in this simulated place. Humanity within the Matrix believed also that there was a hierarchy of people, those who have and those who have not. Alert. Any similarities there? Okay. Those humans who seemed successful, They were part of the elite, part of the upper echelon of society. And in the Matrix, they were living the life, right? The life of luxury. Anything that they could think of or want, they had. And then for the rest of the schmoes, it was a daily grind of existence. They believed there wasn't enough for them and definitely not enough for the world. Alert? The Matrix represents a system of control by the machines that operate completely in the mind of humans. Completely in the mind of humans. As a complex machine-driven program, it appropriates any personal, religious, political beliefs and renders them false. The Matrix is a virtual world that has been pulled over humanity's minds to hide them from the truth. They are now slaves. Alert? Okay. And then we come to Morpheus. Morpheus is on a mission. What's he on the mission for? To find the one. The one who will what? Break them free. Save humanity. Right? I'm not going there. According to Greek mythology, the name Morpheus is defined as God of dreams. The name literally means he who forms. He who forms. And this Greek god has the ability to change his own shape, manipulate reality, bewitch other people's minds with dreams and fantasies. Pretty appropriate name for this character, right? Why? Because he has people believing, doesn't he? Believing that they can be saved, believing that there is a truth. And then he approaches Mr. Thomas A. Anderson, right? Who he thinks is the one. And in the cyber world, Mr. Anderson has an avatar, which goes by the name of Neo, right. And did you know in Greek, Neo means new? Correct. So Morpheus gives Neo the choice, take the red pill to see the reality or the blue pill where you can stay within the matrix. Well, have you noticed that Neo's character is really taking on the embodiment of a modern day Christ? Are you noticing that? So he is an ascended teacher who is trying to break through the false beliefs, break through the corruption, and calling humanity up to truth. And as Mr. Anderson goes on his spiritual quest, yes, I'm calling this whole thing a spiritual quest, he becomes Neo. He becomes Neo. And what is the anagram of Neo? One. He becomes the one. Okay. So, 2022, living in the Matrix, what? This powerful imagery of the Matrix, right? I think it was really prescient about where we are in so many ways in our world today. We can equate the Matrix in the movie to our real life acceptance of the status quo. All ways of operating that are not of our highest good or the highest good of humanity, and we accept it. Each time we believe that there isn't enough in the world for all of us, and then we choose to consume and hoard, we are choosing to believe a reality that isn't true. Each time we agree with politicians that one party is good and the other is evil, we are choosing to believe a false reality is true. Each time we go into agreement that some folks are more deserving than others, we are choosing to believe a false reality is true. And anytime we believe in separation as a reality, we are choosing to believe a false reality is true. 2022, my friends. In the movie, taking the blue pill meant humanity would just stay within the simulated world of the haves and the have-nots. They would stay asleep. Staying asleep meant that they were in lack consciousness, alert, and that only the special few can live their dream. We can equate the matrix to new thought communities refusing to talk about systems of disparity and injustices that have been programmed in our society. Under the guise, it's not spiritual. The analogy of taking the blue pill says we want to stay comfortable in our life, surrounded by material gain, and that spiritual principles are bent, twisted, and pretzeled so we don't have to be concerned about other people's suffering. All while we remain cocooned in our bubble. If we make the choice to take the red pill, it is a commitment to seeing the truth. It's a desire to release the false teachings of separation and awakening to the kingdom within as us. Ingesting the red pill means a willingness to see the unjust economic systems, healthcare systems, education systems, prison systems. It's an opening up to understanding that the old ways of operating no longer work. We can no longer hide from what is. Because every time we see, we lift it up to the light. That's our job, to lift it to the light. In the movie, Morpheus mentioned that the matrix is all around us. And here's the thing, the matrix is designed not to be seen. It's designed not to be seen. It's sophisticated enough to hide in plain sight. Now, that's not your fault. It's not your fault that you don't see it. But when we ingest that red pill, when we make the decision to be awakened and, dare I say, enlightened, it then becomes our responsibility, my friend. It becomes our responsibility to witness the false programming and then do something about it. And if we continue with this analogy, then we can surmise that the systems that support the operation of our society is all around us, right? Ingrained into our very culture. So here are my questions. If the matrix is all around us and it is not of love, and it is not of inclusion, if its purpose is to create better lives for some at the destruction of others, then how can we as spiritual practitioners pretend it doesn't exist? How can we justify swallowing the blue pill of comfort and denial? When did we come to believe that spiritual practitioners means that we should be happy and comfortable at all expense and not worry about anybody else? When we claim Jesus as a way shower, the powerful example of an awakened consciousness that we want to emulate, when did we turn Jesus into a Pharisee? Now, if you remember, I spoke about the Pharisees in previous talks. They were the priests during Jesus' times. They were the corrupt priests that were so enamored with themselves and their power that they became a burden on the Jewish people. And Jesus called them out. He called them out as hypocrites. How dare we reduce his teachings to those of the Pharisees? Maya Angelou had a wonderful way of distilling truth. She said, when people show you who they are, believe them. When people show you who they are, believe them. The Pharisees showed the people who they were, And Jesus showed us who he was, and even more, he showed us who we are. Amen? Taking the red pill means awakening from the matrix. And I gotta say, in the last couple of years, we have seen some awakening happen. We have seen people claiming the kingdom of heaven. But it requires work. Meaning it requires us to make a conscious choice to let go of the dream, to shake off the shackles of oppression, to see the matrix that is everywhere, and to claim our power to create from love. And in that awakening, we are then called to release the old thoughts of right and wrong, the old thoughts of division, the old thoughts of lack, which then frees us to see our families, our friends, our neighbors from the frequency of love. Once again, once it is seen, it cannot be unseen. So there's a level of trust that has to happen here when we're talking about doing this work. Trust that as we are questioning our reality, God's got us. That we have enough strength and power and divinity to question and to create anew in love. Do you remember those old wives' tales that you heard as a kid? You know, if you sit too close to the TV, right? What's going to happen? You're going to ruin your eyes, right? Well, you know, that's been proven to be a myth. Yeah, you may get some eye strain, but once you allow your eyes to rest, they go back to normal. What about cracking the knuckles? Right? It'll cause arthritis. Nope, that's not true either. That's just the nitrogen bubbles in our ligaments and joints. And then the swallowing the gum, death. Death. And I really have to tell you, I heard that from my mom. I did. My brother, God bless him, he would chew a gum for like 2 minutes. Where's your gum? Swallowed it. His entire life. And I was worried. I'm going to lose my baby brother. He's going to die soon. You know? Well, he's over 50, and let me tell you, he's still swallowing gum, and he's still okay. So, right? So we know these things. We know that these old wives' tales are old ideas. Old ideas. And that they've been scientifically proven as false. And somehow when we reach our adulthood, we think the ideas and the beliefs that we have are finite, like they can't be looked at or challenged anymore. But that's a myth. At any moment, in any time, we can challenge a belief that we grew up believing. And when we challenge that, what we're doing is we're not saying my mom was wrong or my dad was wrong or, you know, those parents were awful people. It's not a place of blame. It's a place of evolution of consciousness. They did the best that they could do at that time. They trained us with what they knew. They wanted us to succeed. Right? But guess what? We are now in a rapid ascension of the evolution of consciousness. So you can keep trying to hold on to the old things that are no longer working, that no longer make sense. You know the story about the ham, right? The ham, the person always cut the ham, and mom always put it in the pot, and da-da-da-da. And so the daughter grows up cutting up the ham, and the mom comes visiting one day and goes, "Why are you doing that?" And the daughter goes, "Well, that's what you did." And mom goes, "Well, that was the size of the pot that I had." Right? Right? We are powerful enough to live in the question. We are powerful enough to be in the not knowing. God's got us. The dissonance that we often see in the world is the outpicturing of those false beliefs. You know, the beliefs such as everyone is free, everyone has same opportunities, everyone is treated equally, everyone has the same housing. Then why is there an epidemic of suicide, poverty, addiction, and homelessness? These are beliefs propagated in a culture to shore up systems of not enoughness, systems of otherness, systems of undeservedness. Those beliefs are not of truth. They are not of spirit. They are beliefs of the matrix. As spiritually mature metaphysicians, we have the fortitude to look at the ways that our silence, our denial, our compliance continues to support erroneous systems. So are you ready? Are you ready to let the false die and create from spirit, create from love? Our silence is an agreement to what is. Jesus was unafraid to speak out against injustice. He was unafraid to call for oneness. He was unafraid to say, you are my brother, you are my sister, you are my beloved. And we can see those teachings as shockwaves throughout the world. It caused an evolution of consciousness, my friends. And today, we are on that precipice of another evolution of consciousness. And it requires all of us to say yes. Yes, I will take the red pill. Yes, I will awaken. Yes, I will see the reality. We have the power, my friends. We have the power to end slavery of the mind and body. We do. We have the power to create in love. We have the power to claim oneness and to treat each other with respect and dignity. It's a call. I do this work because it's a call. It's time to reframe, maybe moving from a new thought community to a new belief community. I'm there. I hope you are too.